I think our members now are forgetting our history, and that is that when fraternities first started, they were very discriminatory. It was only wealthy white members, and they were founded when women weren't even attending our organizations. So they were founded upon social networking premises. Because women were ostracized, they created their own organizations. Today, it's quite different. We're considered social organizations, and women now can't recruit without men supporting them, and vice versa. And so there's a heavy reliance on the opposite sex to project your organization as an acceptable, worthy organization to join, because it's based on, unfortunately, a lot of the perceptions of attractiveness of the organization, how buff are these fraternity men, and how pretty are these sorority women. And that leads to so many other issues in terms of eating disorders and abuse of drugs for men. And so there's that sexual...
That was extremely annoying, like you brought up, because I remember guys used to almost, sell us as a fraternity through women, like give them a shirt, make sure they were at our events, talking to guys. It's like, well, should we worry about them being here, or should we worry why we only have 60% of our membership here? And not really focusing on the right things, because like you said, if we're going to go back to our basic foundation, I'm sure that wasn't what they had planned out to do, have, girls somehow rush our fraternity, or, it shows a lack of their dedication. It shows that, we claim to be this great brotherhood, but we can't do it without them. So it could get extremely frustrating at times.
And what's sad about that is, for students who are gay or lesbian, they see that perception and then they feel like they're not welcome or they're not exclusive, because if I join this organization, then I'm supposed to go after women and not do the other aspects, which are really the majority of the Greek experience, is being leaders and doing community service and philanthropy and playing intramurals and having those social networking, social development things that normally take place.
Then you're also encouraging female objectification that way, and male objectification, and those aren't by any standards that should be promoted. It's sexist either way you look at it, and that's not what college is supposed to be about, really.
And like you said, you have that incident with the president. It just shows a lack of leadership in houses. I mean, you have this great leader, and because of this one reason, he's put in his time, he's done his work, he's done everything right. You're going to basically, disregard everything he did because he's out, and it's pretty terrible. It shows a lack of leadership on us, especially when it's hard to find leaders here at CSUN. To kick one out just for that reason is not right.
And the fear is, by the rest of the members, is if it's known that our president is gay, we're not going to be able to attract other, what they consider quality face men, which will eventually bring us more women. That's one of the fears, is, they're going to scare away all the quality men that are going to get us more opportunities with the women.
So do you think that fraternities and sororities help create the American's definition of normal when it comes to hetero norms, masculinity, femininity?
No, I don't really believe that, because it's tough to say. At some points you do have those, that great, those great things that you do that do display how much we are dedicated, and how much of a leader they are. And then there's other guys who just kind of totally blow that stereotype out of the water, and it's just like, oh, what are you doing? Why here right now? Horrible timing sometimes, just everything. So it's difficult. I think there are gentlemen and ladies who definitely portray that great standard, but there's also a good percentage that don't, that affect us, because everybody tends to look at the bad more than the good. So when those stereotypes are out there, they're definitely going to pick at us and get on us about it.
And
Oh, no, go ahead.
On TV and in movies, we see a lot of stereotypes of Greek life. Where do you think that these come from?
Many of the stereotypes are true. And what's sad is, it doesn't mean that 100% of fraternity men and women act like that or believe in those stereotypes. What's sad is really it's about 10% that ruin it for the rest of us. And so there are chapters, there are national organizations, there are members and alumni who truly, truly joined for the right reasons, that really felt a connection to this bigger thing called brotherhood and sisterhood, that through their choice of joining have truly changed their life. For my own example, I would never have been able to complete my undergraduate education, let alone move on and become a doctor, without the support of my brothers, because I didn't have that growing up. And so that's just one example of so many personal stories. And it just makes me angry that it's the 10% that really are the bad seeds, that really we made a bad choice in accepting them because they really don't buy into that. So we need to do a better job, and I take accountability for us to really make sure that we do a better job in picking the right members.
And how often do you think that new members come in expecting sororities and fraternities to be like this stereotype?
Because of those stereotypes, many of us do come to us with that expectation. And again, we're not screening out and asking the right questions and getting to know them well enough to be able to decide whether they are truly a match with the values of our organization. And so they slip through. Those 10% recruit more 10%ers, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so it's this perpetual thing that will continue unless we really stop and really think and reassess, what does it take to be an ideal member today in our organization? And what does that person look like? And if we were to identify that person, let's go after that person instead of having them come to us.
I think it's great when your organization is young because you still have the chance to be idealistic and you really want to live those principles through. And you don't have like so many centuries to skate over and just build your numbers. Now we're like, oh, we really want to make sure that our members know what we're about and exemplify that in their behavior on and off campus, really.
And where would you like to see the Greek community in 5 years?
I mean, hopefully accepting, hopefully, you know, on track with academics. You know, that was a big problem we had as an overall Greek system when I was here, was academically. I'd love to see, I see that progress. Of course, you know, day by day, just be more accepting, and eventually, I think it could be. I mean, I don't think we're far. I think we have a little ways. We do have a ways to go. I think we always will have a little ways to go. But I think it's goals that we can reach. Philanthropies, academics, acceptance, those are all things that we have to work on. We're almost there, but like you said, there's the 10%ers, there's some people who truly don't feel the way they say they feel, and eventually, once that's all gone, I think we'll all be fine. And when we start concentrating on other things besides the parties, I'm not trying to say I was the angel, you know, of the Greek system, but there's a time and a place, and there was a time to be a leader, and there was a time to be goofy, and you got to find that medium, because if not, then you're not really getting out of your organization what you should be getting.
I definitely want to see a stronger community tie with the LGBTIQ community from our standpoint with the Greeks. We definitely want to be more proactive in educating about civil rights, women's rights, gay rights. We want to be very integrated and very close so that we don't even have to worry that it's a step at a time for acceptance. And it should be, no, we're going to educate ourselves. We're going to make it active in our mission to educate ourselves about these issues.
And what do you think?
I would like to see it become accepted to have 2 men show up at a fraternity formal, 2 women who are dating in a relationship to show up to the sorority formal, and not have it be an issue.
Okay, thank you. That's all we have time for today. My name is Kristin Price, and this is On Point.